Making seeded crackers is easy to do, and the results are often better than the fancy crackers you can buy at a grocery store deli. Today we're going to make ones that anyone can make at home with simply flour, water, and a collection of various seeds. The recipe will be in the description below. Let's begin. So you start with 2½ cups of flour. And to that you add 50 grams or 4 tablespoons of a seed mixture. Today, to the seeds and flour mixture, you need to add 1 teaspoon or 7 grams of salt and 1 teaspoon or around 7 grams of a savory spice mix. I'm using Italian spice here, but you can use any kind of savory spice that you would like. Then mix together thoroughly all of those ingredients, and to that mixture you'll add about 1.5 cups or 150 grams of a sharp, tasty cheese. I'm using sharp cheddar. And then thoroughly mix together that whole set of ingredients until everything is mixed well. Make a well in the middle of the flour. In that well, put 200 milliliters or about 1 1/3 cups of water. And about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of olive oil. Now you'll mix together all the ingredients until they come together. This is a point where you may have to add some more flour or some more water. So you're going to mix together this mixture and decide if it's correct. You may have to add some more water. You might have to add some more flour, depending on how it all comes together. You want it to be soft, but not sticky. After it's mixed together, get your hands in here and kind of work the dough and decide if you think it's come together. At some point, take it out onto your bench and begin to mix it and knead it until it really comes together well. You see the dough is beginning to get softer. So as you can see, the dough is soft but not sticky. This will make really nice crackers. So the next step, once you feel like the dough is pretty good, is to divide it into 3 equal portions. And if you have a scale, like I do, you can measure them. You want them to be pretty close to the same weight so that they fit on the scale about the same. So that's pretty good. Once you've got them pretty well equally weighed out, flatten the dough into a nice rectangle, like this, one that you'll eventually be able to roll out. Then cover them with plastic and put them in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. I'll be back later and we can roll out the crackers. Okay, it's time to roll out our crackers now, and we're going to unwrap the crackers from the plastic that I had it in, and we're going to flour the parchment paper. Now, some of this dough sometimes can be kind of moist, so you want to get it covered on both sides with some flour, and you want your flour handy because you may need to flour it while you're rolling it out. While you're rolling it out, you want to turn the dough every so often to keep it from sticking. First we roll it out like this, both directions, and after we've rolled it for a bit, we just flip it around like that. Roll it some more. Depending on how thick you want your crackers, you decide how far out you want to roll it. And you can decide that as you're cooking, and you can just make crackers of different thickness, different times. I'm going to roll this to about 1/8 of an inch. Some people like it a little thicker than that. You can't get it much thinner, or just won't. They'll just be way too crispy. So there we're going. I'll flour this a little bit more because it's going to stick a little bit. And here we are. You can see the dough rolls out really easily. Feels pretty good. Just like about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Nice and squared off. And now it's time to put a little bit of salt on top of it. So I generally just sprinkle some salt across the surface area. And maybe 2 pinches altogether. Nice and high up. Like that. Then I'll take my rolling pin, and I'll roll the salt in here just a little bit so it doesn't fall off when it's cooking. Now it's time to put the parchment paper onto a cookie sheet, which I have right here. And you can grab the parchment paper, lift it up, carefully move it on your cookie sheet. Then you need to cut it into crackers. So you can use a pizza wheel if you have one. And I'm going to make these things thin, but let's assume you don't have a pizza wheel. All you have is a knife. But you can also use a knife and do the same thing. Just carefully cut the crackers with your knife, and they'll cut just fine. And then you can go crossways as well. There we go. Using your knife. If you don't have a long knife, you could use a paring knife, but you'll just have to take more time. There we go. Now these crackers are ready to go into the oven. They'll probably cook about 20 to 25 minutes at 350 degrees. We'll put these in the oven now. Okay, so the most difficult part of cooking the crackers is deciding when they're done. And sometimes some of them get done before others. So these have been cooking for 27 minutes, and all the ones on the outside are definitely crackery. So I'm going to pull them off. But a few of them in the middle, maybe they need a couple more minutes. So I'm going to put these back in for 2 more minutes, and then we'll see how they look. But they're just about there. So they've been cooking for 27 minutes at 350. So I cooked these for 2 more minutes, and they're definitely cooked enough and crackery enough. You can make a decision about this. If you want them to be softer, either make them a little thicker when you roll them out, or don't cook them for quite so long. These ones are very crispy. They've cooked for, these are almost 30 minutes now at 350. But if you wanted to have a cracker that was not quite so crispy, but a little softer, just cook them for less time. So after you've let your crackers cool down, it's time to store them away. It would be a good idea to savor them. The way you can do that is by putting them in a covered container of some sort. So you would just put all of those crackers into a nice container like this, and then make sure you cover it with a lid. It could be a plastic container. I happen to have a glass one. And that's the way you'd store them and eat them at your leisure. So that's how to make seeded crackers at home. As you can see, it's a really easy recipe. My next video is going to show you, if you happen to be a sourdough baker, how you can use sourdough discard, your leftover sourdough, to make a similar cracker. So stay tuned for that video later. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy your crackers.